ladies and gentlemen, it's Dr. Tina again with Pro Parent Series, and I am excited to have a special guest like Afshan Tafler with me today. She is whole life coach. She can transform your life, transform your mind, your body, your overall health, happiness, well-being. She is a greatest advocate of conscious parenting, and you know how I like to share things with you. We had an immediate connection, and I love this being authentic. And this is, I wasn't planning to wearing this today. Being authentic and doing things you love and that are connected with you, with who you are, that are in tune with your soul, if you want to say it like that. This brings this immediate, amazing, and I'm having goose pimples right now, connections into your world. I am so grateful to have met you, Afshan. Thank you for being my guest.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I'm so grateful to have met you. We're very like-minded and very connected. So it's my pleasure to be here, an honor. Thank you.
Afshan, I always ask my experts to say something about themselves and inspire us with their story. Tell us something about your life, about your mission, about who you are and how you came into helping people and transforming their lives.
Okay. So my mission started when I had my son, and I went through a really tough time with him. He was very sick early on, vomited 6 times a day, had an immune system worse than an AIDS patient, barely slept, barely ate, failure to thrive. So I struggled a lot as a first-time mom. And because of that struggle, and because of all of the stress around it, I ended up with health issues myself that came from that. So I ended up going on a journey of really understanding what does it mean to be truly healthy. And what I learned from that journey, first I worked on getting my son to a better place. And then I started, working on myself. I wasn't the mom who put the mask on me first and my son. I had to learn that later on after I hit rock bottom. What I learned from that journey was that a lot of my suffering and a lot of my ill health were due to my serious discomfort with having a child who had all of these challenges and all of these needs, and my inability to believe in myself to really handle this, and my resistance to what life was giving me at that time, which was this child who was struggling with all of this. And, me being the perfectionist parent and person that I was back then was all about wanting a child who was very, normal, and then going on a journey of doing anything to fix him. And then as a result of that hypervigilant state that I was in for so long, getting sick myself, and then going on the path of really understanding, okay, what does it really mean to be healthy? And then what I learned is that it's a very much a mind-body approach, because first, like many people, I went on the path of nutrition and eating all the right foods, taking the right supplements, detoxing, all of that. But then what I came to understand was, although I did well with that and I was getting a lot better, I didn't really start to heal until I started working with all of the emotional stress that I was experiencing. And a lot of that emotional stress was in the face of my experience with my child. And so then I ended up really using that experience with my child to mirror to me what I was severely uncomfortable about in this experience. And in that relationship with my child, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about these belief systems that I was carrying since childhood that were really making me unhappy today and wasn't allowing me to really enjoy my experience with my child. And so then, my child became more wired for more stress too, because I was more stressed. And so anyhow, I turned this all into a journey of really my authentic purpose, which is to be a whole life coach, which is, I call myself a whole life coach, because when I coach somebody with, health issues, chronic health issues, it's really about looking at their whole life and how all aspects of life really impact that stress system in the body, and how they really turn into ill health in the body, and how if you work with all of the factors in life, the mind, body, and soul factors, and you heal those factors and you come into living from an authentic place, then your body can relax, it can go back into balance, and can self-heal. So that's the path I went on to heal myself. And then in the process, because with a lot of clients I was working with, they were having challenges with their children. And I started helping them out with their children, because a lot of it was the same work. It all goes back to our own childhood experiences, these limiting belief systems we developed as children, that then our child has a behavior, we react, and we cannot stand to have our child being that way. But why is that? It's because of our own childhood. It's because of our own experiences in childhood, our own wounds that we experience as children, where we develop belief systems that it's not okay to have, say, a tantrum or anger or certain, strong emotions or certain behaviors. We learned as children how to stay safe, to stay loved and accepted, and to stay connected with our caregivers. And so we develop beliefs about the world, about life, about ourselves, in order to stay safe, loved, connected, and accepted. And those belief systems affect our health, and then they also affect how we react to our children. So it was all connected. So then I ended up going, into conscious parenting as well. And now I'm a conscious parenting coach as well. So I went on my own journey, and then kind of turned it into a career and my own purpose, and living my authentic truth of who I am.
Yeah. Your struggles actually taught you how to actually be connected to yourself and to your child more. And then you started out of being, which is also, the message I really resonate with. Being authentic means that you are really connected with who you are, with your soul purpose.
Yes.
And then everything follows. Money follows, like prosperity follows, ideas follow, connection to your child follows. Because when we are authentic, then we are allowing our children to be in that authentic space as well. We are not just viewing them as being our small copies of ourselves, but an individual, a person who has its own mission, who has its own things to learn, and all the amazing things to discover. So you kind of really managed to get everything together in one package, living your purpose, turning this, or your passion, turning this into profit, and which is also the theme of our summit, connect to your child. So and everything comes down, if I just put everything together, what you said, to your mindset. Like, your mindset is everything. Parental mindset is who your child is, because the subconsciousness of our children develops in the first few years of their lives, and they're just taking everything and putting it on autopilot. So how we react, they put it on this automation process, and then they react. And of course, as you said, then we might have the reaction to that, which is actually reacting to ourselves, because we taught them that. How would you say can all viewers change their mindsets into how to reprogram their minds, so that and their bodies, for optimal health, for being authentic, how to become in that way authentic and connect, and that everything will follow?
Yeah. Those are all really amazing points that you mentioned. And it's a great question. I kind of want to divide it into two kinds of mindset. So there's the one kind of mindset where, we've all kind of learned this positive, we need to be positive, and we need to be a certain way, be a certain way. And then, and we've all kind of developed that kind of mindset under I would call it a conditioned way of being. So some of us have this mindset, this positive mindset and ability to act, right, and behave a certain way, because we've learned that's how we should be. But what I call like true mindset is what comes from when you first learn who you really are. So who are you? And a lot of people don't really understand that first. I think mindset that can really stick, take hold, and take you forward in life comes from authenticity. And, authenticity is being the truth of who you are. And many of us went on a journey being conditioned according to who we thought we should be, and not who we truly are. And, how does that really happen? Well, in childhood, if you, it happens in many ways. So say if you cry and your parents say to you, oh, don't cry, you're fine, you're fine. But you as a child are having an authentic experience of emotion and feeling a certain way about a situation. And your parent mirrors to you, it's not okay to cry, that's not valid, and what you're feeling is not real, then as a child, you become very confused because you feel like, well, I have this authentic feeling of, experiencing this in the moment, but my parents telling me that not to cry and not to feel sad and not to, see the situation this way. And then what do you learn? To start to then shut down your authenticity, and you don't trust yourself. So from there builds the whole experience of, I can't be my true self. I can't be accepted for my true self, for all of me. And I think, the key in life, as you become authentic, is to be able to express all of you, good, bad, and ugly, and accept all your parts, of you, good, bad, and ugly. And from that place, can you really start to live life from a perspective of the mindset that you really want to create in your life. Okay, so that's the first point, I think, is to really understand that. A lot of parents think, well, I'm positive and I don't yell at my kids and I hold it all in and I have a positive mindset. So, and I tell my kids, oh, you're okay, you're fine, you don't need to cry, that person, took your toy, it's okay, you need to share, Meanwhile, developmentally, before you're 7 years old, that's developmentally appropriate to not want to share. You know what I mean? That's a true, authentic expression of a child who, in that developmental state, as you know, as a pediatrician yourself. And we can teach children, but if we shame them, then they start to learn that something's wrong about them, right? And then they hide that part of them that was their authentic expression. Okay, so first is really understanding the separation of the two, that this sort of dare I call it kind of fake, but that part of you, honor it, because it got you through life. It got you to be successful in many ways, probably, and got you to a lot of great places. But if you're feeling sort of like a disconnection and not truly happy, then I would say that, it's because you're not living through your authenticity. So learning, first of all, who you are, what you want, what are your values in life, how can you really truly be authentic? And the way you can really learn that is through what your children mirror to you. So whatever your children, whenever you find yourself upset with your children, you can actually take a step back and take a deep breath and go, okay, what am I reacting to here? What am I believing about my child? And whatever you're believing about that child, that my child is being bad because they are yelling and screaming, is really what you believed about yourself. It's probably an experience you had yourself as a child. And now that that belief has become conscious, you can go, okay, is that really authentically who I am, but I want to believe? Is that really what I want to believe from an authentic place that my child is bad because they're yelling and screaming? Or would I rather believe that my child is having an authentic expression of what he or she is feeling in the moment? And maybe it's not the most appropriate behavior, but maybe I need to accept it first, be with it, and accept them for who they're authentically presenting as is. And then from there, teach them, what maybe a better response could be. But it's so, there's different angles of becoming authentic, and then really from there, creating a mindset of what you want from that authentic place.
Amazing. Afshan, I just want to ask you another question just before we go, because I promised myself and to my audience that this is going to be really short interviews.
Right. Yes.
If people forgot who they are and they don't know how to find passion, what's their passion? What would be your laser coaching right now? What to do? What's the single most important thing they need to do to find their passion again?
Okay. So in order to find your passion, that really comes from a deep soul place, right? And that, I feel like, it lives in your body. Your soul expresses through your body language. So what I would say is that if you have no idea what your purpose is, go through life and see how your body reacts. Does it expand to things, or does it contract to things? If you feel like you have an inkling of what your passion might be, and you explore it, you read about it, you watch, about it, see what happens in your body. Does the energy boil up? And do you feel expansion, or do you feel contraction? Because your body will tell you, and that's your soul telling you what is, your true passion. So I feel like we can't always do it from our heads.
Exactly.
It really has to come from that felt sense of our body. We all know when we're in an experience that we really love and are happy, our whole body responds to that. And so that's the key, is to pay attention to the body to really learn what could be your true passion.
Amazing. Afshan, just before we go, you prepared a little something, a special gift for our viewers. What have you prepared?
So I've prepared an ebook on conscious parenting, and with a bent on consciously parenting the sensitive and spirited child. And, today in the world we live in, there are so many more sensitive kids, and so many more spirited kids. And I call them sensitive and spirited, but they really challenge us. And there's a reason why they're all here. There's a mission happening that's beyond our comprehension to really shift the dynamics of this universe, to shift the dynamics of the way that we see the world and the way that we see people. And so these kids are part of that mission. And so my ebook is about helping you understand how to become more of a conscious parent, and understand how to consciously parent a sensitive and spirited child, so that you can experience more peace, joy, and ease in your life, versus resistance, frustration, anger, worry, all the things that parents with sensitive and spirited children go through, because they're so, concerned and so overwhelmed by their child. So that's my free offering to your audience.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking your time and be my guest and share all of this wisdom with my audience, with our audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And dear ladies and gentlemen, follow to the next interview. If you have any comments, any questions, feel free to email me, and let's see if we can, or if I can, or if Afshan can help you further. Just don't be shy, be authentic, and get help if you need it. So thank you so much for following this series and following this interview, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.